and burn.
Hey everybody! So tonight I am looking to discuss Guns N' Roses' first full length, and that of course I think is 1988's Appetite for Destruction. That's a weird record because I'm pretty sure it came out in 88, but it's like it didn't catch on with the kids right away because in 88 I hadn't moved yet, and so at that point, I don't remember Guns N' Roses being as big as they were when I was living in Scarborough. But once I moved to Pickering when I was 10, around 89, 90, Guns N' Roses were everywhere. So I kind of got the vibe that Appetite for Destruction took some time to gain some traction. Because it seems like it was initially released, or when it was initially released, it was quiet. And then all of a sudden, like Sweet Child O' Mine and Paradise City and Welcome to the Jungle were everywhere. But it just didn't seem to happen right away. Because everybody was into Guns N' Roses. And again, I was 10, and I was super into Guns N' Roses too. I mean, the video for Welcome to the Jungle, I was so in love with Axl. I had this stupid little bandana on and all that shit. I used to try to do that little fucking thing he did in the Patience video. That's embarrassing. That's actually the sort of shit I should probably keep to myself, but I don't really care what people think of me. So I made a fool out of myself when I was 10, pretending I was Axl Rose. And the thing is, this record has no bad songs. This record is absolutely perfect. I mean, at the same time, if you think about the Guns N' Roses 4 full lengths, there's no bad music on any of them, but the early Guns N' Roses versus the later early and later, from 88 to, from Appetite for Destruction and Lies right into the Use Your Illusions, they're like two different bands. This record is so hard, and it's so ugly, and it's so dirty. And this, of course, this is the rape scene days, Guns N' Roses, for anybody who doesn't know. They had this, image of this chick who had clearly been gang raped, and it was spray painted on the wall that Guns N' Roses was here. And that was a massive point of contention concerning the 10-year-old me and my parents allowing me to get into Guns N' Roses. They really didn't like that. And so I couldn't even buy the record. I tried to get it from the Music World at the Pickering Town Center, and the chick that was working was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, little boy, you need to be a man to purchase this. Mr. Brownstone's about heroin." So I had to go out and get my parents to buy it, but by then my parents were already sort of like, "Yo, that rape scene isn't cool, Adam." And I was like, "Yeah, but the guys in Guns N' Roses are." So my parents, fortunately, chose to look the other way, and they bought me the record. Thank you very much, Tipper Gore. Oh, I love it. It feels like I turn 10, I get into Guns N' Roses, and that motherfucker gets the parental advisory warning stickers put on, because I got into Guns N' Roses. That is exactly how it felt. Like I said, though, this record is perfect. Aside from these sort of social problems that Guns N' Roses would cause for somebody my age with a gang rape, and the fact that this record swore so much was also a problem. In It's So Easy, when it's like, "Why don't you just fuck off?" That was a problem. Because I used to listen to this motherfucker loud when I was a kid, of course. And, I couldn't listen to I always had to turn the volume down, because if my parents caught wind of that, fuck. Again, I'm back in the Guns N' Roses blender, because now first it's rape, and now it's language. And if my parents knew that the subject matter on this record was so decidedly dark and drug-focused, there's no way they would have let 10-year-old me near this record. But I'm glad I got my hands on it that young. It's been, 34 years or some shit now. This record was perfect then. This record is perfect now. There isn't a bad song on here. I mean, My Michelle's on here, Rocket Queen's on here, Welcome to the Jungle's on here, Sweet Child O' Mine is on here, Mr. Brownstone's on here, Night Train's on here. I mean, this record is perfect. The artwork is perfect. The font they chose, and the font that the band would stick with, was amazing. The image was so iconic. And I really hate that Axl blacked out the cross that he had of the Appetite days. I hate that he blacked that out. It's cool and everything that they've kind of reformed and all that, but it still sucks that they went through that period of estrangement. See, I used the word estrangement to toss it back into the Estranged, which is a song by Guns N' Jesus Christ, you know that, don't you? But yeah, what else did I want to say? No bad songs. The swearing was a problem. The rape scene, yeah. And it is true. I felt like a man. I'm into Guns N' Roses. I'm just like those older kids that I'm afraid of, And it's true. This record made me feel like an adult. And that's where I'm leaving it. So thank you so much for hanging out with me. I kept it short for a little over 5 minutes while I discussed Guns N' Roses' debut album, I think from 1988, and that is Appetite for Destruction. Like always, if you like this review or you love this record, well, if you love this record, that means you're sane. And if you love this record, don't forget to do something nice for somebody. But most importantly, like always, like the end of every video, please don't forget that the world is actually a better place because you are in it. I'm going to get out of here. Have a good night.